I know, because we're opposite vibes. You're like, right, yeah, I don't own that.
One corset, maybe.
One white corset.
All right, go.
Okay, we're ready. All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to Quick Smoke Break Podcast. This episode is really exciting because it's the first video version that we have, and I have a special guest today. I would like to introduce my best friend Olivia Moss, aka Liv. This is her.
Thank you.
Cue the clapping. This is my bestie since I moved to the city. We moved to the city both together around the same time in 2021, was it?
Yeah. I believe so.
So 2021, we both go to Fashion Institute of Technology, so we met each other in the dorms, and we just hit it off, even though we're, like, opposite vibes. I've never met somebody that I feel more comfortable with.
Yeah.
You know?
At first, it was a little, like, intimidating because we both, like, are intimidating people.
Yeah, we're both alpha females, kind of.
Yeah, and
so.
we, like, sometimes we get in, like, arguments, and it's just, like, okay, like, girl, like, you need to do this. Or, okay, girl, you need to do this.
But we'll
and
literally
I'm
be like, okay.
Like,
okay. Yeah, like, I don't care. Like, I'll do that.
All right, it's fine. It's literally fine. And then Camry checks me, and I'm like, okay.
Because I'm
fine.
older. I'm the older sister, so I'm 24. I'm 23. I'm going to be 24. In October. Yes.
I just turned 22 in August.
She just turned 22, so
she definitely has more life experience than me, so I like look up to her in a lot of different ways.
That actually brings me into what we want to talk about today. Today I want to talk about mental health, really, because Liv is actually the main person that made me feel comfortable with my mental health and talking about it and feeling like I could express it and not feel judged by it, because I just thought she was really cool and an awesome person, and she also goes through the shit that I go through, so I'm like, okay, then that's like normal, I guess. So I just want you to talk about your experiences today with mental health and kind of just like give people a guide of like how to handle it, go about it. But before we get into it, let's just talk about you for starters. So where are you from?
Okay, so I was born in Manhattan with a single mom and a nanny. And my mom was a private investigator at this like insane law firm, and she was making like mad money and like had like support that she would pay my nanny to raise me. And basically I was just raised by like nannies and babysitters because when I was 8 years old, my mom married a man and he adopted me, like completely adopted me and became my father. So that was like a little switch up before like my like growing experience. Like,
could
if
possibly
that makes
be like a pivotal moment in your life.
So I never knew what having a dad was like, and I used to tell all my friends like my dad was at work or my dad is like doing something, because like everyone in my kindergarten class like had a dad, and I was like confused a little bit. I was really just like I was confused a little bit because I was just like, why don't I have a dad? And I was just like, people would like not bully me, but like
make me feel
like an outsider, because like I had a single mom, and I know you for a fact had a single mom, and that made me feel like better than myself.
Yeah, like we both had kind of situations with our dads, and then we also had like single parents, so it's like really good that we had each other to kind of talk to
like bond about
and, like,
that,
like feel normal about it, not feel so overwhelmed by it, because we really would just have conversations like these all the time, like at home, because we've been roommates for like 2 years. We just now recently aren't roommates,
unfortunately.
but we have conversations like this all the time, so I just know that the things she can say are going to be like very transformative to a lot of people that are listening. And
right,
keep going. Sorry for that. The segue.
Okay, so that's where my life began, because my mom worked in New York City, and then like my mom like after 9/11, honestly, after 9/11 happened, my mom wanted to be like, my family wanted her to be closer to home. So we moved to Long Island, and I grew up on Long Island. They weren't around that much because they were working so hard, and I respect that now that I'm older.
And understand
and
it,
I understand how like you need to work, and you need to pay your bills, and you need to like mortgage your house, and you need to like do specific things like that. Like now that I'm older, I get that, but like I as a child, like I really didn't understand that. Honestly, like I respect them for like having like mad money, like having like the like living in Long Island, which is really expensive, like living in like the town that I live in, which is the best schools and like the
like
area.
picket fence lifestyle, but like it's give or take, you know. So
Right.
like yes, I think it's awesome that you can.
Like I'm
respect
privileged
that.
as fuck. Like
Okay,
I'm
cool.
literally privileged as fuck, but like
And
you don't know
you
don't
right.
know what comes with that though. Like
Right.
I can like I haven't had a job and however like I've known like didn't have a job and like my parents like just didn't care and they were just like they would pay for my housing, they would pay for my food, they would pay for my groceries, and it's just like I wish I was independent on my own because I know you are independent on my own and that makes me feel like kind of like a piece of ass.
No. You should never feel like a piece of S for starters. Wait, I love that. Piece of S. I'm coining that.
Yeah, no. Right.
And I think it's really dope, though, that you can say that with your chest. You know, like, you're comfortable in who you are. You know who you are, how you were raised. You know how it's affected you. And I think that's going to, like, help a lot of people get through. Because there's probably a lot of people going through, like, this type of situation, but don't know how to, like,
of course. I'm not
handle
the
it,
only
you know?
one.
No, definitely not.
No.
And so to hear you be so open with it is just, like, every time we have deep conversations, bro, I'm, like, in awe of you. Like, I really just, like, love how comfortable you are with your feelings and how certain you are of
I'm a very, like self-aware person.
Yeah.
Like, I am really, like, into, like, researching about, like, mental illness and researching about, like, my problems and, like, where it came from or how it began to be and just, like how to accept it. Accept it. Like, radical acceptance is what I've learned from like an outpatient program that I went to over last winter, and radical acceptance just means like you have to like realize that like your problems are like other people's problems too. You know what I mean? Like there are so like when I was in group therapy was the best time I ever had in my life. Like in inpatient and in outpatient, like group therapy like makes you realize like you're fine, like you're gonna be okay, and these other people are also gonna be okay, right. And these like people I could relate to, and I like knew exactly like when you're in an inpatient program, like you obviously like talk to people because there's nothing else to do because there's nothing literally to do, but you like talk to people and listen to other people's stories, and it's just like I feel that internally, and like I feel bad for some people, and I like. Then some people who have my specific illnesses, like I'm like, how do they like learn to cope with it? Right. Like how do everyone learn to cope with it?
Do you think it helps like being in, so for somebody that's been in patient like therapy type of thing, do you think it's better to have group therapy or like one-on-one therapy?
I think I enjoy group therapy the most because I can like relate to other people, not only like talking about myself and then someone like giving me advice. It's different. Than an outpatient program because we had like a 7 group of people like in a room, and we would have like 3 different therapists throughout like the day. And I used to wake up at 8 a.m., go to the group therapy, get out at like 1 p.m. We'd have like little breaks in between.
I remember receiving texts and calls on those breaks, just for the record.
And I just like when you know someone is like completely like you, it's just like I feel seen. Yeah. I feel really seen. Like there was this one guy who was around my age, and then there's this like other woman who was like a school teacher in like the Bronx and had like a very bad experience. But there was this one guy who like had like auditory like hallucinations and be like, my mind won't stop, like the voices in my head don't stop, and I'd be like, I understand that. Wow, bro. Like he would like hold his head, like holds his ears above his head, and he's like, the voices won't stop, and I've like physically like been through that experience before, and I know exactly what that's like, and I'm like, I feel so bad for this person because I loved everyone that was in my program. Like I specifically like loved everyone. Yeah. And like this one guy who was like just had a child. He like got pneumonia as a child, and like he had to step away from the situation and like call his wife and everything like that. And then he announced like he's out of the hospital. Like he's like doing okay, like the son. Oh, and cool. I was like, amazing, like everyone like clapped, everyone was so proud for him. Like it's like a community that you guys build in there. It was honestly like the best time of my life. But I had to come to an end at like 4 weeks because we continually like talked about the same things over and over, and everyone was just depressed, and I was like,
yeah, it becomes like kind of like a lot to like immerse yourself in, I feel like, after a while. But I like that you said it's the best like experience that you've had, because there's been times when I've personally talked to you about this stuff and you didn't say that as the answer. So I think hearing that from you just shows like how much growth you've like even done this past year, where you can reflect on like your outpatient or inpatient therapy and be like, that was really great for me. Like, that was really awesome for my like process and for me to heal. And I just love watching you grow. But
it was good.
Do you want to talk about your diagnosis that you have, just to give some background to why she's been in the therapy?
So when I was like a sophomore, I went to the University of Rhode Island, and I was living off campus in a house, and I felt myself completely like turning depressed, and I have never had a mental health issue before, like have never. And my primary care doctor, which is like your like basically like when you're like a child and you're still like up to 18 years old. Like I was under 18 years old, so I just went to my primary care doctor. And they told me I had like anxiety and depression, and I was like, okay. And then I took some meds for it. They made me gain like 15 pounds, and I still didn't feel better. And then I went back in and I told them that, and they were like, you probably have ADHD. So they put me on Vyvanse, which is like kind of close to Adderall. And that's what made me have my first manic episode, because being bipolar is you're not allowed to be on stimulants because you will turn manic. And I did. Like, I was taking my Vyvanse every day to get rid of the ADHD that I have. And then I went to the inpatient hospital, and they were like, I'm diagnosing you with bipolar, because I had the worst. I was 20 years old.
20, okay.
And they like put me on lithium. They put me on like the strongest drugs like you could ever be on, because I was like psychotic and I was like hallucinating.
So this is when we lived together, correct?
This is when we lived together.
So yeah, I'm just going to give some background really quick. We started living together when she was 20. I was 22, 21, 22, something like that. And she is well, I've had like experience in the past with my family members having like bipolar and stuff like that, but she was the first person I knew like firsthand like actually go through like some crazy shit. Like I've seen you, I guess when you were first starting to go through that is when we were like roommates and like getting close.
No, you're right.
So like our friendship being built was kind of built around like understanding each other's mental illnesses and like what we go through. So when she tells you that she was literally hallucinating off of this stuff and like hearing voices and things like that, it's like she's not exaggerating. Like I was there, our other roommate was there. Like it was crazy. There's been times where I've had to pick her up in the middle of the night at an ambulance. So like I've gotten a couple Ubers to ambulances before. But that's just a little bit of background. Yeah. So you started when you were like 20 is when you kind of realized like
I was bipolar, and my grandmother was bipolar. She painted her whole room black and then died inside of it at 73 years old.
That's chilling.
Which is like, wow. But like they didn't have the medication or the resources. But when you are diagnosed bipolar, like you, like I know people don't like recommend, like people are like people don't like recommend like medication or don't respect that people have medication, but it's literally dangerous if you are bipolar and don't take medication for it.
Untreated is like very
and my
scary.
Mom has also like been on antidepressants for a long time, and she's like a pro like medication person, which I know. Like I have a friend whose mother like doesn't respect like medication and like won't put their daughter on medication, and it's just like I need this to actually function properly and to have like to get through school or to maintain like stable relationships.
Exactly.
And it's just like I need these things in order to function like a normal human being, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's completely fine.
I think it's even like cooler when you're able to like know that you need to take medication and be like, okay, I do need help. Like, I know for me, it took me forever to get to a point where I was like, okay, I need some medication. But like, even seeing, like, you even helped me like be able to give like medication a chance and not just like raw dog my whole like mental illness. Like, that's just not good, and especially with something as like the chemical whatever it is from that causes like BPD in your brain.
Like, I know for a fact, like, I've been with you for like 3 years, and like I can tell you have depression. I can tell you have anxiety.
Yeah, that's true.
I just, like, when I like see people and see the way people act, I'm just like, they need to be on this medication.
What is one of like some of your like coping mechanisms? Like, what do you do when you feel like really overwhelmed just for comfort?
Honestly, like, makeup is really important to me. And you know, when you lived with me at 101 Thompson,
you would do that.
I'm just gonna say our address out loud, but I don't really care.
Well, we don't live there anymore.
No, we don't live there anymore. But like, painting, drawing, styling outfits, like putting on like cute little clothes, like making a cute little TikTok, like doing my makeup, doing my hair. Eyelashes. It's so important to me, and like that's where I find my joy is like self-love,
self-care, like
self-care.
Because when you look good, you feel good, you know.
And there's some days where I don't do my skincare routine, and there's some days when I don't brush my teeth and don't brush my hair. But it's not linear,
you know. Like,
but it's not linear.
It's not. Every day is gonna look different, and that's totally fine. What human is like actually well run every second of every day? They do everything they need to do.
I'm
like,
sure that there is.
If they exist, you're not having fun.
Yeah,
I bet. Right.
It's just like too much. Like, I feel like I have to deal with so much on a daily basis, and I wake up not knowing like what person I'm going to be.
Literally. Okay, so let's get into that a little bit. Like, what's a day in the life of somebody with like BPD? Like just to give people awareness of how it can be to live with.
So it's like very much like hate about yourself. And it's very much like self-harming and suicidal thoughts. And it's about how like you fear abandonment so much that like when you text a friend and they don't respond in a few hours, you're like, oh my God, I did something wrong. They hate me. Or you have like a favorite person. Like, this is called FP in borderline personalities, where you have like a favorite person, which was like, it could be like relationships, or it could be like best friends. Like, it doesn't really matter like who. No, Cameron's my favorite person right now for sure.
Me.
It used to be like mad at other people, but like other people cannot understand what it's like. Like, I wish someone else that I knew that like says shit about me that like actually understood, or actually like, I feel like you and our ex-roommate Bella like clearly understand what I go through on a daily 100%. Basis, and like give me recommendations on like what to do and how to help myself, and that's what gets me through the day.
Exactly. And I don't think anybody can understand like what you go through more than like me and Bella. Bella was our other roommate, so we all lived together. Yeah. And we saw all of this firsthand, like, and I think what made us all be able to be so close to each other is because we understood. Like I said before, like, we all lived 3 feet away from each other. Yeah, it was like a shoebox ass apartment in Soho. Anyways, but we all understand like that's her issues, and she knows my issues. Like, we know Bella's issues. Like, we all just understood each other, and we're kind of like we knew that it wasn't something she was doing.
Everyone's hurting. Yeah, like, you just need to accept that, and you need to like really like understand people. And like, I know it's hard for my friends to accept my borderline personality disorder. Like, I know it's hard for them. Like, I know it's hard for every single one of my friends. But they just like cope with it and get used to it, and know that like when I'm screaming, crying on FaceTime, when I'm like happy as fuck and doing jumping jacks in my room, that I don't understand why I have so much energy. Or when I can't get out of bed to pee, I hold my pee in for hours because I'm glued to my bedroom. Yeah. Like, every day I wake up and I don't know how the day is going to continue.
But as like horrific as that is to live with every day, I think, like I've told you this before, things like that kind of act as like a way to weave out the bad people in your life, or like the people that actually care about you, because the people that care about you will stick around and and they won't just leave because you might be intense or whatever. Like your friends, like me and Bella and all of our friends, like we understand like when you have like your episodes. Like we don't take that shit personally, you know? Like we're like, okay, she's going through this right now. Like it's literally just, it's her diagnosis, you know? Like she can't do anything about it. So it's nothing that we take like personal or anything, and I feel like that's like a really important thing.
And I have met like specific friends that like do understand. And I'm so grateful for that. Like honestly, I'm so grateful for you and for like my other friends and like Bella, our ex-roommate. Like they do like understand me, and I feel like it's really hard to understand because like you're not living through what I'm living through. You don't, I don't understand it. I go to therapy once a week, and I'm like, who am I? What am I doing?
Every day, yeah. It's definitely like a huge thing to manage, and that brings me into like my next kind of point that I want to talk about is like, how do you manage like going to school and taking care of your education while also battling such intense like mental issues?
Honestly, it's hard.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's very hard because some days I want to do homework, and I'm going to like spend the day typing away, and then the next day I'm like, I can't do this. Yeah. I can't do this anymore. Like I don't feel like graduating. I feel like I need more help. Like,
but you've kept pushing yourself though,
yeah.
and you've made it like you're literally about to graduate. Like, so something had to have kept you going throughout those times. Like, what kept you going when you felt like super low? Because I know
like
you've overcome
very
it.
like, I think to myself like I'm intelligent. Like in high school, straight A's. Like in high school, I took college level classes. Like I know what I'm capable of, and I'm not going to let that go away because I know how strong I am and how much that I've dealt with in my life. And I'm about to graduate college, which like
with all of this shit.
With all, like being an inpatient, being an outpatient, going to the psych ward like multiple times. Like I'm going to graduate college. Bro, and so many people can't say that about themselves.
No, yeah, and you could be like so much more proud of yourself because you've had so much to face going through it. Like it's some people go to college and it's like chill, whatever, but you literally had to go through like detrimental ass situations like every year that there was college, and you still are able to push through. So if you guys think that you can't get through anything, like let this be an example that you can, because
you can
because like we've been at rock bottom, let me tell you, and
both of us,
but this is your episode, so I'm focusing on your trauma. But she has just been able to do like everything, you know. So I really wanted to bring her on here to let everybody see that like you can overcome your issues, even if you feel like you're having one of those days like she said where she can't get out of the bed or anything. She looks amazing right now. You will have another day. Like it's not gonna stay in that vibe. So I think that's really awesome that you said that. So thank you for mentioning that. And I just like think that, I don't know, I even talked to your mom about it. Like I text your mom here and there, and I'm like, I'm just so proud of her. Like I don't know how she did that. Like how did she even do it? I don't know anybody else who could, like actually, like with all of the circumstances and even like going in and out of care, and you were still like staying on track. Who does that, you know? Like when you graduate, you're gonna be like, oh my god,
that's
I'm
gonna
a
be
superhero.
The
like,
best time of my life,
you know?
And I keep saying like, I need to graduate college. Like,
but also don't let it
college.
Consume you.
Yeah.
You know? Don't let it consume you to a point where it's like you feel like you're gonna die if you don't or something. Like focus on definitely your mental first and getting that straightened out, but know that you will graduate. Like you will progress in your
also path. Like DBT skills. I know there's CBT, whereas like you just talk to a therapist, but BD skills like means like you actually like do something. Like you don't just talk to a person, you do things about it. And like radical acceptance means like you have the sources, you have the knowledge to switch your brain a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's just like you have to like realize, and then you will overcome it. You know what I mean?
Smart. Like you learned so much. Like
oh my god, so much about mental health. And like when a friend like cries to me, I know exactly how to respond in a respectful way, and not like being like, I know you're really depressed right now and that you're acting like this. Like, no,
Yeah, like,
you
it's
need
very...
to be like accepting of another person and support the other person. And like, I'm lucky enough to have the friends that I have that do support me and that do love me. Like, it took so long for me to find that, but I feel like I finally found it. And I'm just like, I love my life. And sometimes I'm suicidal.
Like, that's the quote of the year, I think.
No.
I love my life, and sometimes I'm suicidal.
Exactly.
Like, all jokes aside, though, like, I'm happy that you said that you love your life, though.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it's harder than others, but...
We go to the best fashion school in the world.
Shit could be worse, you know?
She could be really worse.
It could really be much worse, and I just, like, I'm, like, so... proud. I feel like a mother, like I definitely feel like your older sister, but like maternal to you as well. And I just like have watched your mind shift like over the past couple years. Like you're just like, you probably wouldn't have even known that you'd be able to be in this position like today, like last year type of thing.
Right.
Because you're talking about it so like, oh, you just like, I feel like you're growing into this like such amazing person that's like you're gonna help so many people with like the mental health.
It's a blessing and a curse at the same time. It really is, because like, yes, I go through hardships. Yes, I go through relationship hardships. Like, yes, like my like relationship with people will like bounce from on and off, and like having it like significant other like makes me like anxiety like all the time, like thinking they won't answer my text, like thinking they won't respond to my call.
But you're so like, aware of that too, that you stop yourself before it even gets to like any type of like crazy point, or you know like your limits, like how far you can push yourself in like a relationship standard to like
how to accept rejection.
But I think that
everyone accepts rejection.
Everybody gets rejected.
Yeah,
though.
Of course.
Like, it happens to everybody.
Like I tell my therapist, she's like, you need to listen to your support system. You need to listen to your mom. You need to listen to your dad. You need to listen to Camry. Like, you
not the therapist know me by name.
No, you are so much of a significant a part of my life. Like, no, I don't think you even realize this, but like, to my therapist, you're like one of my go-to people when I have like an episode or when I'm having like feeling down. Like, I don't want to like let you know that I'm like feeling down, but like
I know
I want to tell you so badly, but I don't want to like come off as like too strong.
You know, you still can tell me. We've had all these conversations off camera, but she knows that she can text me whenever. But it's also like a thing that you deal with BPD as well, is you're trying to not be too much. You know, you don't want to like overwhelm people, but I think it's also showing that you're learning that
I don't mean to do it.
Yeah, no, but
I don't mean to do anything.
So you don't have to like, you don't have to worry about them leaving because we're not. You know,
right.
Type shit. So you will find people that are like meant to be in your life type of thing like that. Let me reference my question real quick. Okay, so what is it like so going to school is one thing, but like just becoming an adult as well. Like,
it's hard.
Like, I think you're learning a bunch about yourself through it, but that can be straining, I imagine. Like, growing up and being on your own is the biggest thing. Like, going through some shit like this when you're on your own and living in New York City especially can be jarring.
I feel like age regression, if anyone knows what that is, like, it's like a symptom of borderline personality disorder where, like, I still feel 16 in life and I'm 22.
Oh, for real?
And it's something that, like, happens, and I'm like, I don't need to do anything. I don't need a job. I don't need anything. I don't need to go to school. Like, I feel like a child still. And that I just, like, I feel like I'm, like literally a child in my mind. Like, I'm not 22 years old. Like, I'm 16 still. And, like, age regression is such, like, an important, like, point to, like, stand out within, like, borderline personality disorder because, like, it's a thing.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's
I actually
really
didn't know that. Have we had this conversation before?
I don't think so.
That's like, wow. Like, I'm still learning things about you even after like years of being friends with you. But it's like
It's called age regression.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but that actually makes so much sense.
Right.
Now.
Yeah.
Wow. But it's like so crazy because I feel like you have an outsider point of view of yourself, but you're like still yourself, but you like know.
I am extremely self-aware.
Yeah, you're very self-aware. Like
my therapist has told me, like you know you shouldn't drink, you know you shouldn't smoke, you know you shouldn't take drugs.
That's why you text me and you're like, so should I drink? And I'm like, you know the answer. Like, it's literally the same type of thing. But you know yourself. Like, you know exactly, like I said before, like, your limits and, like, what you can do and what you can't. And I feel like that helped me a ton because you're so open with how you feel. Like, bro, I really feel so many days, like, I'm just pissed. Like, I don't want to talk to anybody. Like, when I get home, I literally just want to, like, lay there.
Oh, I know.
When I get home, I want to just lay there. And
I'm respectful of that.
Yeah, as her roommate, like, I would literally come home and she'd be like, hey. And I'd be like, I need 5 minutes. And she's like, okay. And then I'd literally go in my room and like smoke or something and take a nap and then come back out and be like, hey. So you're like, hey. It's just really funny. But you made me feel like I can be more open with that because I used to feel like,
of course.
I used to feel like I had to like bottle that in, and when I bottle in a bad mood, I'm just a bitch. Like I'm just literally like not a vibe to be around. So it's helped me be like I'm upfront with people. Like I'll be like, I'm overstimulated right now.
Can't talk to you.
I can't talk. Like,
No.
I really just don't feel like it. Like, in class the other day, this girl was, like, playing music while I was, like, doing some other things. And I was, like, I'm overstimulated and I'm going to throw up. So, it was, like, really helpful that you always are just, like, super open with it. And you just made me feel more comfortable about this shit, honestly. So.
Thank you.
How attainable do you think mental health care is? This is like a big thing.
I believe in medication. Like,
do you think it's attainable though, or like, do you think it's easy to get if you don't come from privilege?
Oh, it's very hard. Like my therapist costs like $150 per session, per week.
And that's why I don't have therapy because my insurance cut me off.
Yeah,
but,
no, like.
That's
it's not through insurance. It's like out of pocket, like money.
So
exactly.
Just wanted to point that out, and don't think that, and that goes for anybody listening. Like, don't think that you're not as far as you can be if somebody, because who's gonna tell you? How are you gonna let somebody else tell you how far you've grown, type of thing? So
exactly.
Just pointing that out.
Sometimes I like need to know though. Sometimes my mom like checks me like you do, and she's like, "You're so smart. Like you're so capable." She's like, "You're so intelligent," and I'm like, I don't even know at this point.
Yeah.
Like, before I got, like, diagnosed with anything, I was straight A student, took college classes, all of high school, was in honor society. You know, like, you probably were, too.
Wild.
Like, in honor society, graduated in honor society, had an extra tassel on my fucking...
I didn't, but I did do those things to
Yeah.
get extra tassel.
Exactly. No,
but
exactly.
You did that, yeah.
And I did what I did, and I was who I was.
And you still have that because, look, you're about to graduate college.
Yeah, I'm about to graduate, which is, like, when I do that will be the best moment in my entire life.
Straight.
No, I'm not even kidding you. Like, when I graduate college will be the best day of my life. No.
Ever. Unlimited twisted teas. Twisted teas and Casamigos. And we're good on that.
Tito's, actually.
Oh.
But you like
for
the,
me.
you like the Casamigos.
I don't like
I like the
vodka.
Tito's.
She likes
I know.
vodka.
We're different in some
like
ways,
tequila.
but it's fine. We're still best friends.
Yeah.
But
opposites attract, if you guys couldn't tell. So anyways, I'm like breaking the fourth wall because it's
easy
you.
because we're like extremely different, but like we're still the same person.
I'm like trying to be professional, y'all, but like this is best.
She's like, sometimes like I can't handle you right now, and I'm like, okay, I'll just text my mom.
What did you text me this morning? You said you're like, oh, why can't I sleep? I'm like, multiple mental illnesses. Like, I'd probably a bunch of medication might play a part. So, like, we're very honest with each other.
Oh, extremely honest. That's a very important part of a friendship. Let's, like, talk about that for a little bit. You need to be able to, like, check someone or, like, be able to, like, tell you that you did something wrong.
And move on from it. And not be, like,
extremely move on to it. It's not a problem anymore. It's not, like, a discussion. Like, you say it, and then you say sorry, and then life goes on.
And you change accordingly to what you did, depending on what you did.
Right.
And, like, we do that with each other all the time. Like, even in front of people. No.
But I'm like, as a person, and as like Camry, the number one, but like other people in my life, like just accept it. And I'm like,
you're like sick.
How? I'm like, how do you just like, I'm like difficult to deal with, and how do you just like accept me for who I am? Like, I don't understand.
Because love is acceptance.
And I have like mad friends.
Yeah.
That get it.
You do have a lot.
Like,
of
if you get it, you get it.
You
know what I mean? If you get it, you get it.
You don't get it.
Yeah, if you don't, you
don't get it. And if you can't handle your friends with all the shit they have, then you don't really deserve to have them as a friend.
Right.
Like, you should probably just like be. I've been trying to preach this to people. Like, it is literally just about accepting and being kind to people. Like, you don't have to do anything else other than that to just like have a happy, chill life. Like, when you're just in a constant vibe of just like understanding other people and like not judging anybody, it's like so different. Like, the world is so different.
Right.
And actually, I had to tell you this because I forgot to tell you this. I went to the other day, Washington Square Park. And I was sitting there. You know how people come up for like interviews sometimes? Like, they'll be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like sitting there, and this guy comes up to me, and he's like, it just brings out his camera, and he's like, can I ask you a quick question? I was like, okay. And he was like, what is love to you? And I was like, shit. I'm like, love is acceptance. It just came to me, and then it just all made sense, and I was just like, whoa, love is acceptance. Like, I was just like, I'm like really in there with my spirit, you know?
Yeah.
But like it that ties into what we're saying here, because like I accept you for who you are, and you accept me for who I am, and that's why we have a lasting friendship. And like that's why when we get in arguments, like it's not like we have like bad intentions to each other. There's no competition, there's no petty, there's nothing. It's just all love. So like we can really listen to what the other person is mad about, and then be like, oh, okay, I understand your perspective, here's mine. Now
I do that a lot.
Let's help each other with this.
I do that a lot with Cameron, because like she is slightly older than me, and she does have more like life experience, and she has been through some horrible things that I don't even want to touch upon
I'll talk about it in another episode.
But I like when she checks me, or when she like checks me for anything. Like this morning, she effing checks me, and I was like, okay, like, you're right.
You thought it was like sweet too.
And I'm like,
she's texting me all casual. I'm like, Liv, don't.
No, she's
don't
like,
do that.
Don't do that. And I was like, okay, like you're the smartest person I've ever known.
But it'd be the same both ways. I don't want to make it seem like I'm just shitting
no,
on you all the time.
No, not like that.
No, she'll check me too and be like, you can't do that. Like, no, just don't. And I'm like, right. Like, and then we'll move on. Like, nobody cares. It doesn't matter. I'm not like mad at her about it like the next day. But this bitch will really text me like every day and be like, are you mad at me? And I'm like, I just texted you an hour ago. I'm literally sleeping or in class or doing something. Like, it's just so funny because like when you're so locked in with somebody, like shit doesn't matter. Like, you just go through life with each other, and nothing's gonna change.
Exactly.
And when you text each other's moms, it's like over. Like, I think that I like was texting your mom for like a week straight there, like every day. Like, I was like, what's up, Jackie? Like, her mom has called me like on the phone before and like talked me down from like a literal panic attack. And it's funny because your mom like isn't judging at all because you're you. So when I'm like at your crib or something and I'm like having a bad day, or like she was over at our house one time, or on the camping trip probably.
Yeah.
I wanted to be alone, and she's like, okay, I understand. Like, it was nothing. Like, it was literally nothing. I'm like, I'm just in a bad mood. I gotta go walk over here. And she's like, okay. Like, that's really normal for me. But shout out Jackie. I know you're watching. Shout out Casey. That's my mom. I'll talk about you another time. She's gonna watch this and be like, why aren't you talking about me?
Right.
Anyways. So, but yes,
that's so important, though.
It's so important,
it's
right?
It's such like a great like experience to be able to like have like complete connections with some people. Like, that is so important to me, and that has been so important to me. When Camry like says something to me, I like believe it, and I like completely like, I'm like, this girl is right. Like, I'm like, oh, I did something wrong and I need to pay it back to someone. Like, you know, like I have to like, I have to change in some type of ways. Like, I just need to figure it out. I just need to figure it out sometimes.
And it's all like a learning process too. Like, but I feel like so lucky to have met you at a young age. Like, at this age, like, where literally like building the foundation for ourselves is going to carry us into adulthood right now. So like I feel like us being friends is so crucial for our like own self-growth. Like you've helped me grow so much as a person. I'm pretty sure I probably have helped you, but
obviously.
but like
obviously.
But I wanted to like also talk about just some fun stuff here. So
yeah, let's talk about fun stuff.
Let's talk about fun stuff. So I know that you have a comfort show that you
which is the most depressing show that's on Netflix.
It's probably the worst for your mental health, but it's her favorite show. Would you like to tell the name?
Okay, so it's called BoJack Horseman, and it's about this guy who definitely has BPD.
But he's not a guy, he's a horse.
But he's a horse. He's a horse. And I know probably many of you watching this podcast will know about it if you are mentally ill. And it's just like my comfort show because it feels like I'm him.
You're him.
Like he wrecks all of his relationships with people. He has like girlfriend over boyfriend over like girlfriend over girlfriend over girlfriend over girlfriend. And it's just like...
And how many times have you seen it?
I've seen it 12 times.
12, okay. Full, every season, all
every
the way through?
Every season, 12 times.
But we all have those shows.
And it's okay. But it reminds me of, like, him drinking all the time. And him, like, doing out-of-pocket shit. Or, like, him disappearing for a little while. And going to another really state by himself. And it's just like...
It's a very intense show, actually.
I'm just like... Oh my God, is this what I'm like gonna turn out as? But like
that's why I like don't know if it's very helpful for mental health.
It's
but it's
not.
Also
it's my
funny.
I'm not gonna lie, it's my comfort show.
But I don't know how you watch that shit alone. Honestly, like I have to watch it with you, and it's funny. If I watch it by myself, I'm sad. What's my show? Pop quiz.
Modern Family.
There you have it. I've seen that also like 12 times in a row.
Modern Family, New Girl. This new show that she's been watching called... Something about Julia? Is it something about Julia?
Julia's my roommate's name.
Julia's your roommate.
Hey, Julia. Are you talking about Ugly Betty?
Betty!
I didn't even know that's what you were going to say. I thought you were going to say Abbott Elementary.
Well, we watched that together,
okay, we watched that
so
together.
it's like a different thing that we watch together.
Whatever, but
when we watch shows together, it's like different than watching shows separately.
Okay, fine. So yeah, I guess but no, Ugly Betty's been on my radar.
Oh my God,
I'm almost done.
Oh my God, she's obsessed.
I'm obsessed.
She's obsessed.
It's really great. It's from 2007, and it's a little homophobic and transphobic, and also slightly racist. But if you can look past that, no, just kidding. It's like it's actually horrible. Sometimes I'm watching and I'm like, okay, this is from 2007. But then I'm like there's been points where I'm like, yo, should I stop watching this? Like, how is this on Hulu? But the aesthetics are good. I love Betty, America Ferrera. I actually love it because she works in this like environment that everybody's like shitty and trying to change her, but she's like stays so true to herself. So that's what my thing is with that show.
Right.
Aside from all the scandalous shit that
I know, that's been your fave show.
We have about 15 minutes left, so I'm gonna ask you this really important question.
Is that about fashion?
Okay, that's the next important question.
Okay, fine.
This question is, since we're reflecting on our lives, what's one thing that you would tell your younger self if you had a chance to?
I'm sorry.
But, oh my God. Okay.
I'm sorry.
That was like quick. That was like a quick response to that question.
I say that to myself all the time. I look at pictures of myself like eating chicken nuggets and french fries, and I'm like, I'm so sorry that I did this to you, to this little girl. And I look at my pictures from when I was younger, like very young, like 5, 6 years old. And I'm like enjoying my life. And I'm like enjoying everything. And then I'm like, I'm so sorry for what you had to go through. Like,
that's true.
I'm very upset that like your life turned out like this.
But let's flip it in a positive way. Wouldn't you be like, guess what? We live in New York City. Guess what? We go to fashion school. Guess what? We're about to graduate.
No, you're right. You're right.
Like,
I mean, like, immediately when you asked that question, I just said, I'm
that's
sorry.
Real,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Because I feel that, too. I feel that, too, for sure. I think
a
lot of people. A lot of people definitely do. Or, like, you just feel, you ever look at pictures of yourself when you were younger and, like, feel bad? For that
every
kid,
single
you're
time.
Like, damn.
Every single time.
Like, I just feel bad for my own self. But it's like, I wanted you to try to put a positive spin on it so that you could see where we reflect.
I've gone so far. I've gotten this far.
Yeah.
In my life.
Your younger self would be so proud of you, bro.
And I don't have a job. I don't have, like, any extracurriculars with that. But, like, I do have, like, school that I'm mainly focusing on. And it's,
You're doing a lot.
Important for me. And, like, I'm focusing on it. And it's, like, my main focus of right now. And I am very proud of myself to getting through, like, what I went through this past couple of years.
And you have, like, a crowd of people cheering you on. Like, we're all, like, in the seats, like, yeah, woo. Like that other TikTok where it's, like, Lightning McQueen. You know?
But, like, people, like, you don't even know what people are going through.
Ever.
Right. And you, like, won't even see it or you can't even tell. But, like, everyone's struggling.
Exactly.
Everyone's struggling. It's
literally
fine.
Every last person, every person is struggling.
Right.
And, like, I bet when you met me, you didn't think that I was going through half the shit I told you.
No.
So I just keep that in mind.
You are a normal, regular person to me.
And I'm not. Like, I'll tell you guys that in another episode upcoming. But,
upcoming.
But, like, that just shows, like, the point so much. Like, when we first met each other, we had no clue what each other were going through. I think there was even, like, at first we were, like, we both thought each other were really cool. So we're like, oh, shit. Like, low-key intimidated. But then we, like, talked to each other and we're like, oh, my God, bestie.
And immediately became best friends.
Yeah.
Immediately became best friends.
And then we talked about trauma and it was like, oh, and she understands? No way. So that was really awesome. But I have 2 more questions that I want to, like, wrap this up with on, like, a good note.
Okay.
Well, actually 3. So the next question is about fashion, just related to that. Who are some of your fashion inspos and how would you identify your style? Because she's aside from her mental health is not she's not all of her mental state. That's not what she is. She's not her illnesses. She has a million other things that make her an amazing person. And fashion is like a gift to her. She's the best dressed person I know. And she could style with her eyes closed and turn around. So tell me your style.
Honestly, like, I just do it all myself. Like, I'm like, I look through trends. I get some inspiration from TikTok. Like, I get some inspiration from my friends, like you.
Look at this fit. Let's pay attention to the fit. You can tell that she loves black and, like, edgy alternative fashion.
Like, broken, like
she has the most insane chrome hearts, like, hoodies you ever see. She can make, like, if you guys could see this full outfit right now, it's really just, it's giving everything.
It's giving everything.
So I liked your hair better this way, sorry.
I love thrifting. Thrifting was one of my favorite things to do. And I just, like, I don't even know, like, my senior year of high school, I started dressing a little bit differently than the other people and not wearing, like, sweatshirts and leggings and Uggs all the time. But, like, I started experimenting with the little things, and I modeled for LF, which was, like, a really big brand at the time. And I would, like, miss school, go into the city, take a photo shoot.
And then you turned emo?
And then, like, honestly, COVID made me, like, realize, like, who I actually was.
Emo Barbie.
Because we spent so much time in quarantine.
Yeah, you have to just sit with yourself.
And I was literally like, okay, like, first of all, you need to get your shit together. Second of all, you're gonna go thrifting and you're gonna find things and you're gonna find pieces and you're gonna be
so many clothes.
Everything.
So many clothes. When I tell you that when we lived together, there was a pile taller than both of us. Like, if I was standing on her head, the pile of clothes was taller than that in our main living room.
Yeah.
And me and Bella were just like, every day I'd be like, there's the pile of Liv's giant clothes. And then she'd just add to the pile. So,
I really don't know where it comes from. Like, honestly, like, I love the black, like, immediately because it just makes you look so good.
Well, Lady Gaga.
Okay, so Lady Gaga, Baby Fat, Britney Spears, like, Avril Lavigne.
She's trying to distance herself from Avril, though, because she gets that all the time.
I get that all the time. It's like, because she has the blonde hair and she wears
she's
the all
emo.
black. Like, I get it.
It makes sense.
I get it. But, like, what other brands? I don't really know. I feel like I am.
You wear anything.
I feel like I am myself, and I'm just
You're
like
the brand.
Like, I'm my own brand, sort of, because I see for myself, like, what looks good, what textures, what, like, it doesn't matter the brand. I hate brands. I hate high fashion.
Yeah, you like things that nobody else has.
I like things that,
That's
like...
the coolest part about your fashion.
Right. Like, all my clothes cost, like, $5 or less.
And none of her shoes are going to be the same size. Promise. Because she gets them at the thrift store. She's like, this is a 10. I don't know. This is a 7. This is a 6. It's cute, though. And you'll just make it work.
Yeah. No, it's so good.
I'm so glad, like, that... like, people were able to listen and get, like, an interview, because Liv is such a complex person and so, like, interesting to learn about, and then once you learn all this stuff about her, you just love her even more.
And you would never know,
You would never know this stuff, so I'm just really glad that you have, like, a platform right now, even if it's not, like, that big, to just talk about, like, this, so, because it might fall upon the right ears, you know? You never know who's going to hear these things. And I'm just really glad that you were, like, transparent. And I've been thinking about this episode in my head for, like, years. So I'm really happy that you, like, came through. But just to, like, end it on, like, a positive note, I want to just say, like, what are your goals? Like, what do you want to do? Like, what's something exciting coming up?
Honestly, I know that fashion is my passion, but my therapist has inspired me to get into, like, the psychiatric and, like, the psychologist and, like,
because you definitely have a passion for that as well.
And I do. After, like, having multiple therapists, I'm like, I give great advice. Do I not give good advice? You give great advice,
and you're such a good person to talk to. Like, I feel so comfortable.
I feel like so... like, I feel, like, happy when I get to help people with their problems. And I know I might have to get my master's. I know that's going to be a whole thing.
But you're only 22.
But I'm only 22.
You have a whole life ahead of you.
I'm going to, like, I have a whole life ahead of me. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do. And I really want to be a therapist. I love my therapist. And she's just, like, an inspiration to me.
So basically you want to be her when you grow up.
And she's like, it's easy. Just go to school. You'll be fine.
Yeah. No, you will be fine. Because, like, people that are older than us always want to tell us we're going to be fine because, like, we're so young and stressing like we're 50. For what?
Right.
Like we have so much life. Like, that's why whenever we, like, fuck up, we're like, 20 things. We're silly in our 20s.
We're in our 20s.
Oops, got
like,
drunk
it's fine.
on a Monday.
Like, I'm drinking on a Wednesday. Like, it's literally fine.
We're in our 20s. Yeah, we have to kind of wrap up right now, but I'm so happy with, like, everything we covered today. I hope that you guys listening kind of feel a little more seen and feel more motivated that you can, like, get through this stuff, because you have a prime example of somebody who has overcome unforeseeable things and still is here to be an advocate to anybody else who's, like, going through it as well. So I just really hope that this episode helps people feel less alone and, like, you can continue and get
because
through.
You can.
Yeah,
because you can.
You can, for sure.
Either with therapy, with a psychologist, with, like, therapy again. But, like, anything. You know, like this happens to so many people you don't even realize. And you can never really tell if I'm, like, dressed up, going to school, have a good eyeliner day, like
like today.
You would never know.
Yep, you would never know. You wouldn't know, but you never do know. So that just goes to show, like, treat everybody with kindness, because you really don't know who has love to go home to. You don't know who's battling demons inside. So kind of just treat everybody like you would want to be treated. I know we said that when we were, like, kids and our parents told us that, but I still think that's one of, like, the most valuable things that my mom told me is, like, to treat others the way you want to be treated. So just go into your day and care for other people. Think about what other people might be going through, but also put yourself at the forefront and take care of yourself and your mental health.
That's the most important thing that Camry has taught me. Like,
did you just call me Camera?
Camry. I said Camry. But that's the most important thing that Camry has told me. Like, everyone's not going to be listening to your phone. Everybody's not worried about themselves at their, like, beck and call. Like,
you gotta have your
everyone
own back.
has their own life, and I'm, like, accepting that. Like, I'm, like, slowly accepting that for myself, and I'm just gonna be like, okay, like, there are other people that exist that are not you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And it helps to grow your own stability with yourself when you know that you can only rely.
Independent.
Yeah, when you know you can only rely on yourself, like, you really become a lot stronger. But Liv, I want to plug your Instagram, Live or Die. Right?
Live or Die.
Live or Die on Instagram, LIV or Die D1 for the I and then an E. I know it like I made it up. I kind of did. I helped. Follow her on Instagram if you want to keep up with everything she's doing. TikTok? You want to plug your TikTok?
Yeah, it's Live or Die.
Live or Die on TikTok as well.
L1VORDIE. Ivy.
Oh, I said it wrong.
You said it wrong, but it's
I'll
fine.
I'll put it in somewhere.
Yeah,
you'll
put it in somewhere.
You'll get it. You'll understand the whole thing. But thank you for coming today. Follow her on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, Camry Gabriella. I
hope this helped some people who are going through kind of the same stuff that I'm going through.
Liv, thank you
because you're
so
not the only
much.
one. You're not the only one, and I promise you're not the only one.
You're not. Thank you for coming in and sharing everything.
Of course.
Everything that we wanted to share with the world. So I'm so proud of you with everything that you do, and I'm so excited to see where life takes you.
And you as well.
And do you want to get coffee after this?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. But I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching the first video.
Thank you so much. I'm the first person to be on Camry's podcast.
Thank you guys. I'll see you for the next session. And
bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bow.
Bow, 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 bow.
Yeah.